Welcome to the back half of our new bakery. Just wanted to take an opportunity to give another construction update because this might be the last one before we start sealing up the guts of the place. We have plumbing starting next week, and once plumbing is done, we're going to start sealing up walls. We're going to start covering things up. So probably a last chance to kind of see the guts. I'll probably take an opportunity to really look into some things. So we just recently got the last of the new fire sprinkler lines going. Not really all that exciting, but you know, it's important in a building like this. Make sure we can have the amount of people we want in here. Yesterday, crazy situation. This entire back half of the building right now is full of crates that are actually our ovens. So let me see if I can break one of these open, mainly because I was kind of dying to do this yesterday. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get in here very easily because this stuff's pretty sturdy, but almost there. This one, watch it be the back. I can't actually tell. And this equipment is just not the front either. It's definitely the 5 levels of our deck oven, but my guess is just like the face plates and all that are not installed because it's all in pieces. So we have crate after crate after crate, and just wanted to give a very quick synopsis of how we found ourselves with this stuff in here. We thought it was really as simple as renting a forklift, which we did, borrowing some really long extended forks, which we did, and simply taking the items off a semi-truck, dropping them into here gently. Everybody expected this to be like a 1-hour project at most. This happened yesterday. I had a full day's worth of engagements yesterday planned. The driver didn't have a means of getting these giant crates. I mean, you can see my size, and then you can see how big these crates are in comparison. And each of these, like this one, is the heaviest of them all. It weighs 3,600 pounds. They're also extraordinarily wide, which means they're too wide for a pallet jack to comfortably pick up. Really need a forklift. We had no way of getting our forklift up on the dock height truck. And the driver knew we didn't have a dock here because I filled out a form. But anyway, so we were sort of trying to figure out what to do. And it just so happens that right down the street, about a 1/4 mile away, is this giant warehouse called Mesa Cold Storage. And Amanda's family grew up with that family going to church together. They're all Lebanese. And so I've befriended the guy that owns that place. And so he's actually not even living here. He lives in Texas. I called him yesterday saying, hey, can I borrow a dock? And so we drove that semi over there. The contractors bolted away to get a trailer, and we thought, okay, we'll bring a trailer back there. We'll unload, because once we're on the dock, the forklift could get right on the truck and pull off the items into that facility. And we thought, well, then from there, we can just load them onto a kind of an open trailer, even if it took a few trips. Problem being, these pallets actually are only designed to be picked up widthwise. So there's holes here, but there's no holes on the sides. So they're far too wide for the trailer. So I thought, okay, plan B. I called Amanda, and she was actually in the bakery at the time. I said, hey, I really need you to come here now, because we couldn't stay at cold storage too long. We were taking up their floor space, and what they do is actually store like food items for like fast food chains, whatnot. So they're all zipping around with their forklifts in there, and all of this giant equipment is just in their floor space. So I was feeling really nervous that, you know, somebody was doing me a favor, and I was just kind of now occupying all this space and had no solution. So we brought our box truck. It's a 20-foot truck, and I thought, okay, well, it's wide enough. We handled that. I thought, I really didn't even think twice. Actually, our box truck just pulled in, funny enough. But the problem there was these crates are too tall for my truck. They wouldn't fit. So 2 vehicle options failed, and now we're really scratching our heads. I had an interview with like a YouTube live that I already put off with another bread YouTuber called Bread Code. If you want to check it out, he just posted our stream yesterday. So this had all happened, and my scheduled time there was 1 o'clock our time in the afternoon. It was like 12:55. I had just gone through, I'd managed to get all the small items on the truck. So we at least got rid of like the back half of that room that was on the truck, and what was left were the 3 giant actual ovens that we could not get loaded up. And so I called my friend back saying, hey, I'm gonna make this right. I'm not gonna keep this here in your facility. But I ended up going online and doing that interview. It was kind of lunch hour anyway. The guys at the warehouse all went to lunch. So right after that YouTube, I was able to manage renting a giant flatbed, like a 26-foot flatbed truck, also dock height. And from there we went back. We had to wait a while. Now we're like 4:30. So my day started at 2, now it's 4:30, and we're finally getting the thing done that we were supposed to get done way at 8 a.m. We got back here at 5:30, exactly where we had started at 8 a.m. So we had items on a truck, and now we had to unload them. So from there, it took about an hour, like we expected, to get them all down, get them all sorted. I was a nervous wreck because these ovens represent 5 years of a debt obligation. Again, like if you don't know the story, we're forced to move. We're trying to save up for this situation in the future. And in being forced to move, we didn't just take it as a complete loss, because if we just moved our current bakery, it literally would have just been sinking costs. We have a bakery. We have a great bakery. We don't need another bakery just like it. So if we're going to move, we're going to force our way to our future. If we needed to do it 2 years early, well, so be it. So we financed these ovens, and so I was watching this 3,500 pounds on a forklift just like wobble about, thinking, oh my gosh, you know, I have a mortgage in these things. I hope they get down. And fortunately, they got down. It's a really, really long day. By the time I returned that flatbed, it was 10 at night, so I think that puts me at 20 hours. But you know what? It was absolutely worth it to have those things safely in the bakery now, and that does definitely make me feel like we're one step closer. Just this past week, we had to deal with these new bathrooms. So these will be future bathrooms to the bakery. Last time you were here, this was just a wall. And so we had to remove the drywall, and we found a brick wall, so we had to cut all this brick for the entrance to our bathrooms. We completely are remodeling these bathrooms, making sure that both of them are ADA compliant. Now, a few weeks ago, it's actually, I'm exaggerating, probably 2 weeks ago now, after an incredibly long day back at the bakery, I learned that the walk-in cooler had been installed. So I drove over here late at night, and the electrical to the building at that time was cut off because they were working on it. So I used my iPhone light and got a chance to finally see our walk-in cooler. Now it doesn't light up yet because it's not hooked up, but it is just gorgeous. This was the first thing that came in here that wasn't just like a electrical line or a pony wall or something. This is the first like baking related thing. Now we have the oven too, but I came in here late at night and I was so excited because I started counting all the speed racks that will fit in this thing. It's significantly bigger than what we have at home, and it's not made of foam walls, so I don't have to worry about bumping into them and you know, taking off pieces of foam every so often. It's made of the real thing. It's beautiful in there. I can't wait to actually start using it. I'm going to pull out another piece here. So currently at the bakery we have what's called a mini rack oven. It's it takes a oven rack like this one, except it's only got room for 16 trays. This oven rack, even though it looks like only one rack, it's actually a double rack. So a full-size sheet tray fits on this side and on this side. So we'll be baking our pastries in this space on this, and we can fit 40 trays. Just incredible. I mean, mind-boggling stuff for me. Really excited about seeing these, and then I was very pleased to see that they actually have proper wheels. If you look through all of our footage and find any footage that shows our oven racks in the bakery, you might find them in the background somewhere. Not only do they make an incredible amount of noise when you roll them about, they're like metal wheels and they're small and they're awful. They're constantly like getting stuck. So when I first saw these yesterday and noticed that they have proper wheels that you know are just normal and they don't make any kind of excessive noise either, I was really pleased. So it's the oven racks. Now moving forward into the space, this part of the space has probably changed very little, but I wanted to sort of highlight all the beautiful electrical work that's being done. Our mixers are going to be coming into this area right here. This is an outlet for one mixer. This is an outlet for another. Right now, this is all still tile, but I made a last-minute change and wanted to make sure that they would give me a floor sink here. It's basically like an advanced drain. An advanced floor drain, just a little bit sunken into the ground. And having a floor sink right in between my mixers means that I can spray them off, the sides off, and have somewhere for the water to go. So it'll be a lot easier to keep them clean that way. Pretty excited about it. All this power, so this big fat power conduit, that's actually going to be feeding power to the ovens. And then all of this turns and then goes underground and then out to where our countertops are going to be. Go ahead and go back to the last construction update video if you want to get a whole description on how this counter system works, but I'll give you a quick synopsis. Basically, it's a double-sided counter with this wall in between. One side is for us to produce bread and pastry, so we'll have this really, really long stretch. It's about, I think it's like 40 feet of long counter. And on the other side, there will be counter as well, except for customers. So people will literally be sitting across from us as we work with just a small barrier in between. Super interactive. We made sure that we had plenty of power on our counter, so you can see all the conduit that's running through here. Each of these outlets has the ability to power an induction burner. And the reason I chose that as kind of the model is they take up the most energy from kind of those handheld things that you have on the counter. I know this from the sort of pain of the garage, where if we plug in too many induction burners, well, we're running to the circuit breaker, and so we've learned not to do that. But I figured if I can put induction burners on every single outlet, then it doesn't matter if we teach a class and we have a small mixer, which, by the way, that's part of our vision for this space. We hope to make this a place where we can teach classes. So on the other side, we can have small mixers for everybody and have plenty of power. When we're not teaching classes, we'll have enough power just on this counter to really do whatever we need to do. There will be a little bit more countertop over here, primarily for the mixer. Our dough divider will go right here in this spot, and then there will be a tabletop there. So really plenty of workspace, quite a bit of an upgrade. This is actually kind of a cavity that we can tuck our speed racks into that aren't in a walk-in, because we don't have too much floor space. We actually have more floor space as far as width in our current garage. So, once we put a counter here that's going to come out to here, we've got 4 or 5 feet. So you can imagine with that 5 feet maybe that we have, that a speed rack's lining this hall would really take up a lot of space. So in my design, I created this cavity that can accommodate 20 just floating speed racks. The one thing that's missing that's a big fixture is our proofing cabinet, which will go over there. That also can accommodate 20. And now I'm standing where one of the ovens is going to be assembled. So our pastry oven that takes that rack I was just showing you, it's going to come over here and the door will face that way. So if you're coming here and sitting down and having a pastry right here, you'll be able to watch the pastries as they rotate in the oven because it does have some glass on the door, so you'll actually be able to see the bake. Now, right next door to it, we'll have our giant deck oven, which is actually going to face forward to Main Street. And so if you walk into our front doors, that back deck oven that I couldn't quite show you the front of yet, it's going to be about in line here. And so whoever on our team, maybe myself or Amanda or somebody else, whoever's baking will be working in this space. And so once you walk in the front door, I mean, that's one of the first things you're going to see is the baker baking. Right next to the baker will be the start of the retail. So we'll have a big bread shelf here and the retail loops around. Again, you can look at the other construction update video that we posted, which it gives you more of a synopsis of this whole area. I wanted to focus a little bit on the guts of the whole thing today, even from my own personal memory, because once these things are boarded up, we won't see the electrical anymore. So following these electrical lines forward to the front retail area, this whole area is designed to be able to accommodate coffee service. So we're going to be working with a coffee partner so that we can serve coffee here on site that's hot. We're also going to bring Latin American, like authentic style hot chocolate, so made from DNA chocolate. It's technically, I think, called drinking cacao because it has a completely different profile and taste than kind of the powdery hot chocolate you're probably used to seeing. But we plan on serving both out of the express window and for our retail counter guests. And then the last thing that's coming, which is starting next Monday, is the plumbing, which I was mentioning. And so we hid all the plumbing and all the electrical in what's going to be, a kitchen wall here. And so the plumbing lines are going to come all the way up front so that we can have some sinks. Our county health department wants so many sinks. That's kind of the joke about the county health department. I learned from my architect is they try to put as many sinks as needed, and the county always wants another sink. So we'll have plenty of sinks around this place by that necessity. So that's basically what's going on over here. Super happy about the walk-in being installed and having the ovens on site. And believe it or not, things are going to start changing even faster now. So now that we're getting close to having the base infrastructure of the plumbing and the electrical set, the rest of it really is just finishing work. And I know that from a visual perspective, it seems like the majority, but actually it's not. Doing the design and then doing the base infrastructure is really where most of the labor is. And so now covering the stuff up, our butcher block counters are already made and ready to go. We're really just waiting to tie all this up. So probably the next time we do an update, this place is going to look significantly different. We're getting some painting in next week so that we can seal up the ceiling here. We also have to seal up the kitchen side of the brick. So things are moving along. We're very excited about it, and hopefully we'll be thinking about moving in pretty soon. So that's all I got for now, and until next time.